Whether you're managing a fleet of MacBooks or a cart of iPads, most management tasks in Jamf Pro are very similar between computers and mobile devices. Remote commands, configuration profiles, and App Store apps are all generally configured and deployed in the same way whether they're for a Mac or an iPhone. However, computers enrolled in Jamf Pro have access to a special management action called a policy. Policies can be used to deploy packages, run scripts, add printers, and perform other tasks specific to computers, all without requiring the Apple Push Notification Service, or APNS. My name is Jeremy, and welcome to our overview of policies. Instead of APNS, policies rely on the Jamf binary to run, a small file installed on computers during enrollment. When we create a policy to, say, install a package, Jamf Pro doesn't immediately take action and send commands to a target computer. Rather, the Jamf binary is routinely checking in with Jamf Pro to see if there are any new policies available that it needs to run. Once it sees a policy is pending, the binary runs the policy, installs the package, and communicates the results back to Jamf Pro. With many different payloads specific to computers, policies can be as complex or as simple as you need them to be for the task at hand. Let's begin by taking a look at the policy built into every new Jamf Pro instance, Update Inventory. Unlike mobile devices, whose inventory collection frequency is configured in Settings, computers submit inventory by means of a policy. Navigate to Computers and Policies, and locate the Update Inventory policy. Click the disclosure arrow to the left of the policy name, and we have some information available at a glance, the 4 key components required for every policy. First is what we are planning to accomplish. In this case, the policy executes a command to update a computer's inventory record. Next is how often the policy should run, referred to as the execution frequency. We'll take a look at our options for execution frequency in a moment, but note this policy is scheduled to run once every week. After running successfully, the policy does not run again until 7 days have passed. Then we have when the policy should run, referred to as the trigger. The trigger is one or more events that initiate a policy. Again, we'll take a look at the available triggers in a moment, but note this policy's trigger is at the recurring check-in. Last is who this policy is intended for, referred to as the scope. Scope is the pool of computers and/or users for which a policy is configured to run. In this case, the policy is intended for all computers. Let's select this policy to explore how it's configured. On the left, we have the list of configured payloads, and clicking the Edit button in the bottom right reveals the full list of potential payloads. The general payload is required to be configured, so let's start there. First, we have the name for the policy and an enabled checkbox. Deselecting this checkbox disables the policy, meaning it will not run until it's enabled. This is helpful if you'd like to configure a policy before making it active. Since this policy was created as part of the initial Jamf Pro setup, it's not assigned to a category. In an effort to keep policies organized, I'm choosing the Utilities category. For more information on how to add categories to your Jamf Pro server, check out our video linked in the resources. Next is the trigger, presented as a list of checkboxes, with recurring check-in selected for this policy. Since recurring check-in is the most frequently occurring event, it's a commonly used trigger. However, choosing a trigger is not limited to a single event, and we could also select Startup, Login, Network State Change, Enrollment Complete, and Custom. It's important to note additional settings must be configured in the Computer Management and Check-in object of Jamf Pro settings in order to use the Startup and Login triggers. Below the trigger is the execution frequency, currently set to once every week. We have the option to run policies once per computer, once per computer, once per user, once every day, week, month, or ongoing. Be careful with the ongoing execution frequency, as this along with the recurring check-in trigger would cause a policy to run every 15 minutes by default on every computer in scope. In fact, Jamf Pro automatically disables policies that install a package, are scoped to all computers or users, and have a recurring check-in trigger with an ongoing execution frequency. The ongoing execution frequency is typically used for policies made available in self-service. Back in the list of payloads, we can see policies can be configured to install packages, run scripts, add printers, and more. This policy has the maintenance payload configured with the Update Inventory checkbox selected. There are some additional options here, but that's all we need for computers to update inventory information in Jamf Pro. Moving to the Scope tab, we see this policy is targeting all computers. This is because we want every computer enrolled in Jamf Pro to regularly submit inventory reports. For more information about configuring Scope, check out our video linked in the resources. Policies can be configured to run automatically at the next trigger event, made available in self-service, where a user acts as the trigger, or both. Configuring the Self-Service tab makes the policy available in the Self-Service app, enabling users to run a policy at any time. This can be helpful for items like printers or troubleshooting policies, but for this policy, I'm leaving the checkbox unselected. For more information about self-service policies, check out that video in the resources. The User Interaction tab includes start and complete messages that appear for users at the beginning and end of a policy that runs. There's also a restart message in the event a policy requires a restart. Additionally, we can allow users to defer a policy from running if they're not available for an incoming installation. Once everything is configured, click Save. Like other management tasks, we can check the logs to see when and on which computers this policy has run, is pending, or has failed. If we want this policy to run again before the execution frequency time has elapsed, we can flush the most recent completed log entry. In this case, the policy will run the next time that computer checks in, then wait 1 week before running again. Finally, we can select the checkbox in the top right to show in Jamf Pro dashboard. This creates a widget on the first page we see after logging into Jamf Pro. The widget provides a graphical representation of the percentage of computers on which the policy has completed, is pending, retrying, or has failed. This is helpful for any critical policies we may want to monitor closely. However, the Jamf Pro dashboard is unique for each user that logs into Jamf Pro. Other users must view the policy and select the checkbox to show in Jamf Pro dashboard if they would like it added to theirs. Policies provide administrators with a powerful way to run a number of management tasks on computers. Try creating a policy of your own, and continue learning about policies in our other videos. That's all for our overview of policies in Jamf Pro. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in another video.